Good morning and welcome to Rock and Rob's album review. How are you, Rob?
Excellent today, and you? You okay?
Good, mate. Happy Easter.
So it is. Happy
It
Easter.
is, yeah. I've had my first half of an Easter egg. This is the benefit of having kids. You do get the odd morsel thrown your way. So that's it. And I've had it before 10 o'clock, but I have been to the gym, so I've probably worked that off anyway. But yeah, good to see you, mate. Which album are you going to take us through today, mate?
A record that changed my life. The Mission. God's Own Medicine. Yeah. It's a Japanese one. See down here, it's called an obi strip. It's Japanese for outer cover. There you go.
Right, okay.
Obi strip. So that's it there. So yeah, this band meant absolutely everything to me from 1986, going to college, that sort of thing. Still now, nothing's changed. First tattoo I got was the Mission one. I know who would be so ridiculous to wear a hat like that, Steve? You know, I mean, who would keep their hats? Who would do that? Who would do such a thing? Who would do this?
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's a Matador hat, and I got that. Well, my wife Sharon got me that from Spain. I said I want a Wayne Hussey hat. Wayne Hussey, the singer, used to be in Dead or Alive in his early days, and a band called Polly Murray and the Invisible Girls. Left Dead or Alive, joined a band called the Sisters of Mercy. Probably everybody's heard of. Wayne and the bass player Craig didn't get on with the singer, still don't. Then they formed a band called the Sisterhood. There was two bands called the Sisterhood at this point. One was Sisters of Mercy, and the other one was the Mission eventually. So that went to court. It was a long thing with that. It was called the Wayne Hussey and Craig Adams Band at one point, and Janice Long sessions, which I still have on cassette, funnily enough. So that was a bit of rivalry. So this God's Own Medicine, this album here was originally going to be the second Sisters of Mercy album, but Wayne Hussey wrote the tracks for it. Now, I think it was going to either be called On Revenge and Mission. Wayne Hussey was brought up a strict Mormon family, so I don't know. I think a lot of it, the religious side, would come from that. But all these songs, majority of the songs, even like Serpent's Kiss was the first single on Chapter 22 Records, 1986, and that was a Sisters of Mercy song. You know, so even now at concerts, you'll get a lot of Sisters of Mercy fans go to see the Mission, and they'll shout out Sisters of Mercy songs. Wayne Hussey can't stand this. It really makes his blood boil. And I've heard them shouting at the audience, "Do you go to Sisters of Mercy gigs and shout out Mission songs?" That sort of thing. So yeah, they're still going. But there's a logo. I mean, this comes from a military hat. It's in a museum. I don't know why they've got that, but my first tattoo I ever got was this one in Gorgie Road in Edinburgh. We will not talk about football today. Gorgie Road, you know. Still, great score for the Heed and the Tune during the week. Excellent. Excellent. Cowell, never even got a start yesterday, but, you know, Hearts have lost third spot. Well done, Hearts, you know. Absolute joke. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. Not happy bunny at all. No, it's beyond a joke. Losing 6 games out of 7. Yeah. Crazy. So, lost my train of thought there. This hat here, I bought in Newcastle for my 50th 2 years ago. You know where there's a little second-hand record shop opposite the Academy.
Oh, yes.
You go around the corner, there's a cash generator place, and beside it's a print shop. Mm-hmm. That's where I got this done. Went in, and this is like Eskimo. Eskimo got the name from Newcastle as well. Again, on the Tube in 1986, it would have been 86, 87. It was a bad winter, and a lot of Mission fans, followers, travelled. They would book holidays and tour with the band, sleeping in bus stops, train places, parks, everywhere. They got off at Newcastle And if you watch it, the Mission on the Tube, it's packed because he used to have different stages and different bands would come on. The weather was that bad. A lot of other fans wouldn't turn up because of the weather. Mission fans turned up, and allegedly one of the guards at Newcastle train station said, "Look at these guys! Look at a bunch of Eskimos," and that still stands to this day. Even now, it's like a football chant. They've got their own songs, Eskimo. They still do it. It's just the hardcore fans. I mean, even to the point of fanzines we used to get. I mean, this was our website. Still got my fanzines, Eskimo. Again, a wee bit nostalgia. First ever tour programme. Seen them first, 1986, Glasgow QM University. All About Eve supported them. If anyone's familiar with All About Eve, they'll remember my Mathers Harbour was on top of the pops and the mic never worked at all. So Julian Reagan was just sit there for about 3 minutes, nothing coming out, but everybody...
Painful, that was painful. It gets shown every now and then, doesn't it, on TV?
Yeah. Talking to TV, it just reminded me of the time Wayne Hussey was on James Whale show and got kicked off because he was drunk. Look at nowadays television. Yeah, James Whale took his... Wayne was always wearing these glasses, and his favourite drink was Blue Nun. So was mine back then because Wayne Hussey drank it. I had to drink Blue Nun. So yeah, he got escorted off the James Whale show for being too drunk as well. Wow. Again, I'm just talking a wee bit of nostalgia. I've still got this. It's still got the stickers with it. So this is how much this band mean to me.
Yeah, definitely seem to have had a big influence on you. And I've got to be honest, this is the first album you've reviewed. I've never listened to it.
Yeah.
No. I'll have to give it a listen.
Yeah. And if you've got one of these players, a Laserdisc, remember them?
Yeah.
Big CDs. Laserdisc. The album is so atmospheric. The first single, let's say, was on Chapter 22, was Serpent's Kiss. Then you had Stay With Me. The video to that's funny. Wayne labelled it Carry On Goth because, it was the press that labelled this goth. I use my name, Rob Old Goth. This is why. It's because of this. It's just tongue-in-cheek. Everything's tongue-in-cheek. So if you watch the video to Stay With Me, Steve, or anyone listening, it's so funny. They've got rubber bats. They're playing in open coffins. They're dancing with dummies. They're cobwebs everywhere. And it's like a carry-on film. So it was just getting at the press. Again, like Stay With Me, Let Sleeping Dogs Die. This got me through a lot of dark times through the 80s, 100%. I mean, even now I can see myself just sitting on my beanbag, looking at the window, listening to this and getting lost in it. A song, again, they're all... You can get the demos of the Sisters of Mercy ones, but Love Me to Death, and The Dance Goes On. And we got our band name through the Mission. The Mission actually got their name by speakers. You've heard the Mission speakers?
Yeah.
The brand mate, that's it. The drummer, Mick Brown at the time, was sitting in a room. What can we call ourselves? The Mission. That's why they got the name. Our band name, Give Up the Ghost, is from a Mission song called Kingdom Come. It's from the Children album. There's a line in it, it's time for us to give up the ghost. That's how we got our name. So it was very apt. And there is a Mission song in our set list that we're doing as well. We had to do it, but it was sort of a later decision. This album, Stay With Me, Garden of Delight, The Wasteland. You maybe would have heard Wasteland. They had other songs later, Tower of Strength. They re-released one called Remission. They had a lot of like the bloke from The Cure, that's what I call him, and The Cult. A lot of other pop, alternative singer-songwriters done it, and it was for the NHS during COVID, so all the funds went to that. So it was called Tower of Strength. That was Wayne's song to the fans when Wayne was down. It was at his lowest point. You raise me up when I'm on the floor. You're a tower of strength to me. And that was, again, he got that belief back in himself to keep going. I think living the rock and roll lifestyle was sort of catching up with him. Another thing as well, I mean, that album, I know I've put this on our band site, and a few guys have come forward and said, I remember that album, and I remember buying it. And it's one of those ones. Elmer done the production on this one. He's the latter one. He done Children as well, and the last album, Another Fall from with this. maybe 1% better. Tim Palmer gets the band. You know, I mean, there's documentaries, fly in the wall documentaries about the mission, Tim Palmer doing the recordings, with such likes on that. Again, I've seen them. I went to see them, U2, at the Joshua Tree tour at Murrayfield Stadium. The Mission supported them. There was Mission, Love and Money, Run Rig and the Pole. I only went because the Mission were playing, and I to this day, I feel off the stage. Bono was a massive.
We seem to be having a few issues with Rob's internet. So, Rob,
in 2 dates.
We're having a couple of issues with your internet, Rob. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the ads. I'm going to let you reboot your stuff and come back on. But
okay.
I'll play the ads now, and then we'll get you back on because your internet seems to be cutting out.
Okay, mate.
A big thanks to all our sponsors: Skips and Bins, telephone 0800 25 45 25 3, email inquiries at skipsandbins.com, website skipsandbins.com, easy contract free and pay as you go waste collection. Thanks also to Mr. Vicky's, handmade in Cumbria. These sauces are really hot stuff. You can order them by emailing info@mrvickys.co.uk or by telephoning 01768 210 102. Thanks to Neil and the guys at Media Arts for all the help with the video side of things. And thanks to qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend, Newcastle, and the guys who run our website, NUFCmatters.com. If you want to subscribe to the show, hit the subscribe button tonight. It is free. Hit the thumb up under the video to like the video and click share to share to your other social media. If you want to join the channel, hit join. There's 3 different tiers. Pick the one that suits you and help support the channel financially. If you want to pay a one-off membership fee of £25 and get these goodies, a scarf, a pen, a cup, and entry into the monthly draw, then go to NUFC Matters and look for membership pack. Failing that, get your smartphone and put it over the QR code and it will take you straight there. We're also a podcast and you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and other podcast providers. Usually goes up 24 hours after the show has finished. We also support the food bank on this channel. If you want to make a virtual donation today at the Matchday Bucket, go to nufcfansfoodbank.co.uk and you can make a deposit today. Don't forget to enter the Shearer raffle. There's 150 tickets, £1 per ticket, and you can win a limited edition signed Alan Shearer ball. Enter now at nufcmatters.com. If you have a look on our website, we've also got a vast range of mugs, t-shirts, cups, and whatever else takes your fancy. The Isaac t-shirt is proven popular this month, $16.99 plus delivery from nufcmatters.com. Don't forget as well, we do a range of events over the course of the year. We have Peter Beardsley, an up-close and personal evening at the Tynemouth Surf Cafe. Limited tickets remain, 25th of April. Get them now from Surf Cafe, tynemouth.co.uk or from ticketweb.uk. There's also an evening with Peter Beardsley on May the 19th at the Tyneside Irish Centre, and you can get tickets from newcastlelegends.com, and tickets are £50. Don't forget our end of season do takes place 27th of May, 7 o'clock at the Tyneside Irish Centre. Tickets for that one are a tenner. NUFCmatters.com is where you can get your tickets for that. In June, Thursday the 1st of June to be precise, Rob Lee will be at Louis Liquor Store in the Big Market in Newcastle, and tickets for that are available direct from the venue. And an evening with Rob Lee, Lee Clark and John Beresford takes place the next evening on Friday the 2nd of June at the Grand Hotel in Gosforth. This is a charity event and tables are of £10, £700, and you can book them by contacting Natalie at heelandtour.org.uk or visiting their website. In July, Gavin Peacock is in Newcastle on July the 10th at the Tyneside Irish Centre. Tickets for that are available from nufcmatters.com. And he also takes an evening with at the Surf Cafe in Tynemouth on the 11th of July. So get your tickets direct from the venue for that one as well. And if you're a boxing fan, the Night of Champions, Ricky Hatton, Frank Bruno, Nigel Benn and Joe Calzaghe takes place at the Fed. And that will be taking place on the 16th of June. More dates to be added. Tickets from all those events www.goldstarpromotions.co.uk.
Right, we're back. Rob, sorry, mate, you were just cutting off, and I didn't want to spoil the show for people. You were dipping in and out, so I think it was just an internet problem at your end, but it seems to be restored now. So let's get back to the album, Rob. Obviously this album, you know, it's had a big effect on your life, and this band's had a big effect on your life. So take us through the album, and why does this stand out for you as an absolute classic?
Because it was, I would say it was like the first generation of, back then it was called alternative gothic rock at the time, and I was into sort of more heavier stuff before that. This came along, the image, but it's a sound. The opening line to the song is, again going back to the Mormon side of it, is, I still believe in God, but God no longer believes in me. So that's opening, and it's the guitar, the jangly riffs, and there's not many chords at all through any of the Mission songs. It's more like single pick out notes, a lot of accents. It's just the tempos of them that it's, to me, this whole music, this whole album is about atmosphere, and it's got a variety. It's got like pretty, not heavy songs. Garden of Delight, there's a bit like orchestra music through it as well. Like Sleeping Dogs Die. Again, it's a mood album, 100%. Dance on Glass. It's actually, during the week we listened to this in the car, and Sharon, my wife, looked at me and I had tears coming down my eyes, and she says, "What's wrong?" I says, "Just this album. It just takes you where you want to be." It's a song on it called Blood Brother, which is about Ian Astbury from the Cult. The Mission went on tour with the Cult for the very first time. I think it's on the CD version of it, actually, because it was an extra bonus song. You and Me are Blood Brothers. Sacrilege, the drumming to that is outstanding. I have 100% picked up lots of tips from, habits from Mick Brown, the drummer who no longer drums with him. I think he's a long distance lorry driver now, but I rarely use a hi-hat. I'll go into floor tom, which Mick Brown used to do. Love Me to Death, again, just a beautiful song. It's got a lot of poetry behind it. Julian Reagan guests on vocals on this one. Severina, again, it's about gods, Julian Reagan sings in that again. That was a single. Wasteland, again, just watch the video. There's a lot of people I know this album and listen to it, and I'm sure they'll go back today and listen to it again and think, God, I remember that era. You've got to remember, I think these were the first big goth band, like supporting U2 and Ellen Road and Murrayfield at this time. A year and a half after they formed, remember, and to me, they blew U2 off the stage, 100%. I think. It's the jangly guitars, it's the single notes, it's the dark drums, it's the floor toms, it's the orchestra in the back, Julian Reagan's backing vocals, the bass lines as well. Because if you like Sisters of Mercy, you jumped. But back then, it was like you had to like one or the other. To me, it was like, do you like the Stones or the Beatles? Do you like Blur, Oasis, Mantovani, or James Last? That sort of thing. It was like you had to choose in a way. But Mission forever. They're still touring. We went to see them last year. It's just outstanding. Look at the mullet and Craig there next to Wayne. Oh my God!
It looks like young David McCreary.
Those mullets are coming back as well.
And that's a Rocky Balboa hat on the left-hand side.
That's what it is. And it looks like a cat bed. And another thing as well, I've done a gig a few years, but over 10 years ago, and the band supported us. And the guy said, "Are you Rob from Dalkeith?" I went, "Yeah." He says, "Do you remember me?" I went, "No." He says, "We used to drink in a Luckton in Dalkeith in the 80s. He says, "We were talking about the Mission, God's Own Medicine album." And I said to him, he says, "Wait there." And I said, seemingly, I ran up the road, came back an hour and a half later, and I recorded cassettes for him and still got them. Still got the cassettes. We used to smuggle in like cassettes and record concerts. That, again, the Mission for this as well, they'd done a Highlands and Islands tour. It was for places you couldn't get to. Stornoway, Dunfermline, Inverness, up the Highlands and Islands tour, Orkney, all these places. They're just in a transit van, but for their fans, they're amazing.
As always, Rob, on these shows, you've got a hell of a lot of collectibles, and I can see it down there on the right-hand side next to you. But you kindly sent us a photograph to stick up.
Yes.
I mean, there's your gig tickets. I mean,
Yeah.
wow, Rob, you've been to a few.
Yeah, I've got some others kicking about, but I was at the first ever tour. I was at their tour last year, and it's the same people that go. We're still standing on shoulders, still making pyramids. I mean, Newcastle City Hall played there an awful lot. I mean, they got the name again, the Eskimos for Newcastle on the tube. Tiffany's, I'm guessing that's not there anymore. Just outstanding, you know, a lot of signed stuff, a lot of promo stuff. But this album, it's probably my favorite album in the whole world.
And is that a collection of your CDs and singles and stuff?
They are only LPs and 12-inch singles. So on that, I've still got CDs, my cassettes, 7 inches, DVDs. So that's just some of my albums. Yeah, that's just some of the albums. Collectors collect. You know, it's the same with football memorabilia. You know, you've got to hunt for things and track everything down, and bootlegs nowadays. There's that much stuff, but yeah, the fanzines are still going as well. They're still on the go, making fanzines. It's the same crowd. The band's still the same. They still play the same. Honestly, just Tiffany's there, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you were talking about. I was just trying to find that, mate, because I knew you'd sent us it. And I mean, it was, I mean, it's a bygone era, that now. You know, the old Oxford galleries is no more. There's a little part of it remains, but they literally just dismantled it, took it all down, and it's you know, that part of the city's now being, you know, regenerated. Yeah.
Another wee thing as well. I mean, me and my wife, we were in Haddington, which is down the east, and we bumped into Fish in Tesco's, and not Fish as in, you know, we've got Fish from Tesco's in Marillion, and he only spoke to me, he says, because I had a Mission t-shirt on. You know, I'm a big Marillion fan as well, and I never knew he liked the Mission either. He would only speak to me, he says, I'm only speaking to you because you've got a good t-shirt on. So that was nice as well. It's nice knowing all these little things.
Yeah.
But Bono's a massive Mission fan, and that's why he took them on the road. It's just, honestly, just buy this album. Look at the artwork as well. You know.
And if you don't want to buy it, go and listen to it, because it'll be on Apple Music. I'm definitely going to give it a listen myself, mate.
Do that. As soon as you hear Wasteland, you'll be hooked.
Yeah.
It's one of these albums it's just amazing.
You wanted to plug what you're going to do next week. So what album are we looking at next week?
Well, I've got a choice, so I'm going to leave it as a surprise. It's either going to be Simple Minds or The Stranglers.
Ooh.
So it'll be
either one does me, mate. Yeah. Either one does me.
So that's for next week. Yeah.
All right. And I'm going to push your boundaries a little bit. I want you to go and listen to NWA, Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Right. So go and refresh your memory and let us know what you think of that. That's something completely different. So that's one of my all-time favorite albums. And I'm not into, you know, that kind of stuff. Right. But I think that album in particular was transitional, and you know, they made a huge effect on the music industry. So there's one for the future. But Stranglers next week, or Simple Minds. Looking forward to that, Rob. Okay, as always, mate. A pleasure to spend a little bit of time in your company, and look forward to seeing you next week, pal.
And you, mate. Take care. Happy Easter. Bye now.